So just to begin with, I will start with our publishing model. So as you can see on our screen, we refer to a publishing model as beyond open access. And that's because open access is the foundation block and the endpoint. And anything we publish will have a CC BY license, which is a Creative Commons Zero license, which allows you to share your research findings easily without any legal implications. And it also means that your research will be openly accessible to all. But when we say that we are beyond this, we really want to open up as much of the publishing and research process as we can, with the core aim of maximizing use and reuse of research, which is what open access and open research essentially stands for. Now, the publishing model that I will detail here applies to any peer-reviewed articles that are submitted to F1000Research. Now, whenever a paper is submitted to F1000Research, it is first checked by our in-house editorial team for paper's suitability and eligibility. Now, assuming that the article has passed these criteria, it is sent to our typesetters and can be published online. Now, at this point, the paper is published but not peer-reviewed. Now, this is one way how we differ from the traditional journals which do the peer review first and then publish. What we do is that we reverse this model. Now, the published article is clearly marked as awaiting peer review, but it will already be assigned a DOI, which is a digital object identifier, and it is immediately available to the wider community to be read and cited, and is also indexed in the Google Scholar. Now, after the publication, the peer review stage is initiated. Now, this process is led by the authors, such as yourselves. So you can propose reviewers or can seek reviewers suggested by our system as long as they meet our criteria. Now, we have editorial criteria and also peer review criteria, which I'm going to highlight towards the end of the presentation as well. So our editorial team also ensures that there are no conflict of interest between authors and the reviewers. Now, any reviewer report that we receive are also published online alongside the detail of the reviewers' names and affiliations. Now, because the article has already been published, the reviewers are asked to focus on technical aspects and soundness of the paper rather than doing any subjective assessment. Now, authors can choose to revise their paper. So we have a functionality called article versioning. So as and when the reviewers review the paper, leave their comments, the authors can choose to revise those papers accordingly, address and respond to those reviewers' comments. And they can select of the three statuses, which is approved, approved with reservations, and not approved. So these essentially means the green tick means that the reviewer has approved the paper. The question mark means that the reviewer has some reservations, but mostly they like the paper, but they leave some comments. So if you address those comments, they will then approve the paper. And the cross is not approved. Even when the reviewer says not approved and gives a cross, they leave a comment for the author to address. So if the author addresses those comments, then the reviewer might change their status to either approved or approved with reservation. So this keeps on happening once the article is published. And for a paper to be indexed on Scopus, PubMed, and other indexers like DOAJ and etc., the paper needs to have 2 approved statuses. So 2 reviewers need to approve, which means 2 green tick, or it needs to have 1 approved and 2 approved with reservation. So 1 green tick or 2 question mark. So this is the minimum criteria for a paper